Welcome to Hanging at the Hangar Bar. I'm Scott.
I'm Candace.
I'm Lariah.
And I'm Lacey. Grab a drink and come hang with us at the Hangar Bar.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Hanging at the Hangar Bar. We are super excited today. We are hanging out in the Minx Bourbon Bar, and we have all four of us together for the first time since like April. That's exciting.
Yes, I'm so excited.
Marceline was the last time we were all together.
Which is like more than a month ago, huh?
Yeah, it's been like close to 2 months.
That's crazy.
Yeah. It's crazy that life just gets busy, and we just figure out ways to get together, and we're drinking already. And I say already, you can't drink all day if you don't start in the morning.
But we didn't start in the morning.
Close enough. Yeah, you could hear Lacey kind of jiggling her drink. And we're actually testing a drink out from Walt Disney World, Geyser Point. I don't remember what it was called. Do you, Candace?
I do not.
I can try to look it up.
Maybe. Look up the Geyser Point menu. And while Lacey looks that up to get my math right on what the actual name of this drink is, I can tell you what's in it. It is equal parts. I used Woodford Reserve bourbon. At Disney, they use Jim Beam Black Label, which is just one step up from the regular Jim Beam. It's then you do, so a shot of bourbon, a shot of cranberry, a shot of pomegranate juice, a little squeeze of lime, and then you fill it with ginger beer and then garnish with a lime. It is really delicious. You would think with all those fruit juices it would be sweet. It's really not. Like, it's not a sweet drink, and I think Lacey is the one that said this is a drink you could drink all year round. Mm-hmm. Are we finding it?
I think so. It says Bourbon Breeze.
That's what it is. Mm-hmm. That is definitely what it is. So it's a Bourbon Breeze from Geyser Point, and we're excited to be drinking that. Thoughts on the drink, ladies?
Well, I'm on my second one, so I love it.
Clearly.
Lacey's going to be tipsy by the end of this one.
If I'm not already.
Lariah, what are your thoughts?
I like it a lot. It's not too sweet. It's the perfect drink.
Yeah, and Candace is not a bourbon drinker. What do you think?
I like it. It gives the fruit juices help cut through some of the burn of the bourbon, and yet there's still that sort of warm, spicy thing to cut down on some of the sweet from the fruit juice. So it's a good balance, I think.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, what we're going to talk about in our first episode back together is we are going to chat about if you could make any change to any attraction in all of Walt Disney World, what is that one change? The ride, it can't be like a complete overhaul of the ride. It can't be like 3 or 4 different changes. It would be one change for any attraction. So, full disclosure, I did steal this idea straight from Reddit.
Borrowed.
We borrow good ideas, right? We don't necessarily steal. So we may put in some ideas from there as well just to help supplement our brains and then riff on what they do.
Sounds good.
Okay, who wants to start? Or do you want me to start with one from Reddit? Do that? Okay, so how about this one? This user said they would change Test Track so you would go through the history of motion before going on the last speed test. So instead of having it be like a test track dummies or the one today, the Tron-like, it would be you would start off with the invention of the wheel and just different cars. So maybe have it set up to where as you go through, it would be different car genres, and maybe starts with horse-drawn carriages, and then at the end you hit that opening in a modern cool car that then goes around the track at 60 miles an hour.
I think that would be really interesting, and I can totally see that happening. It would basically be like Spaceship Earth with a track around it, just from a story perspective.
Potentially, yeah.
I don't know with the space that they have allotted in that building that they could do it and do it right without just being, oh, look, we invented the wheel. Oh, look, there's a horse. We could ride on that. Oh, look, there's a buggy. Oh, look, just because it is such a confined space.
They do a lot in that confined space now.
I'm not saying it can't be done because I'm not an Imagineer, but I think it would be tricky to do it justice.
Yeah, I am a big fan of both thrill and educational rides, so I do like that idea. And the same thought popped in my head was the whole spaceship Earth of, it kind of telling a story and going through time to where we are now. And it is in Epcot, which I feel like, it's an appropriate place to be in.
Edutainment capital of the world. Or it was, and it should be.
We'll get into unpopular opinions later, Candace. She's giving me that dirty look. I get that look a lot. Okay, so Lariah, what do you think of that idea, or how would you change Test Track? One thing on Test Track that you would change.
I like that idea, personally. It sounds like a good educational ride, and it would add a lot, especially to the end, where the end is kind of sped through, because it's just one little lap and then you're done. So I think it would add some.
Well, I don't know about
funness.
you, but since we only rode that ride one time, and we also rode Rock and Roller Coaster, I am so sorry, but sometimes I mix those two rides up in my mind because you're in a car and going pretty fast. One ends really fast and one begins really fast, but I kind of mix those up in my mind. Do you?
No.
Okay. Just me.
Not at all.
Yeah, Test Track is just like driving to the parks. Like, we've watched some videos, so I'll give full credit. All Ears on YouTube, they talk about this a lot. Test Track is the dumbest ride ever.
Yeah.
You go faster than that on your way to the parks.
Yeah.
Well, and the original iteration of that ride, in my opinion, and again, this might be an unpopular opinion, but was far superior to the one that they have now.
Yeah, that's not an unpopular opinion. I think
all right then.
most of Disney Universe wants to go back to the original.
Like the test dummy.
The test dummies.
Yeah. That sounds way cool. What is it now? You're just testing like the make of vehicle that you're No?
Yeah,
it's
it's exactly what it is. You're testing like the performance of the vehicle, like the
That
fuel
you built.
economy, and you get to build the vehicle that you're testing. It's an interesting concept. It's just too Tron-like. It's too like glowy. And the other one was, hey, let's go test the brakes, and they speed you up, and then all of a sudden you just stop.
Yeah.
And then the part before you go outside that made it less like just driving to the parks was you had a wall in front of you, and the story was that, hey, we're now going to do the crash test, and we're going to run you into this wall at 60 miles an hour, and you just floor it, and at the last second, the door opens, and you go flying around outside.
And there was like a heat and a cold room, which was really cool because you rolled through this heat room, and it was hot. I mean, hot. And then you went through the cold room, and it was like ice cold, like they do to cars to test the paints and all that kind of thing. So it was really, really interesting. And again, I liked it a whole lot better.
Yeah, agreed. Okay, what about us? Is there a ride that you would change?
Yes.
What?
I would take the Maelstrom back to the Maelstrom.
Tell us more. Give us your snarky
Do I
opinion.
really need to?
Tell our listeners who may not know your opinions on this as well as the rest of us.
I do not believe that Frozen has a place in that ride. World Showcase was meant to be educational, honoring the countries that are represented there. Frozen does not honor Norway. Arendelle is not a real place in Norway. I do not need to listen to Elsa screaming about letting it go and her sending me back over the falls. And for our listeners who are deep Dis nerds, you're going to know where that's from. It's the same track as Maelstrom. It just needs to be rethemed back to Maelstrom because Maelstrom was amazing. End of rant.
End of rant. That's funny. Yeah, that ride I'm not torn on either way. I've never been on either version of it, so I really don't have an opinion either way on that one. But I hear lots of people talk about changing it back, and I think some of that comes down to the IP in the parks, right?
Yes.
Oh, that's too funny. Okay, I have an idea for a ride that I would change. I don't know, again, I'm not an Imagineer, so I don't know how they do this, but what about Rock and Roller Coaster instead of just being Aerosmith?
No offense to Steven Tyler or the guys at Aerosmith, because we love them.
No, and it's an amazing roller coaster the way it is, but instead of having it just be Aerosmith, what if you pick like 4 different bands or 5 different bands, and every time you go into it, you might get a different band?
Like Queen? Yeah.
Yeah,
let's
you could
do
have
it.
Queen,
Metallica,
Bon Jovi, Aerosmith,
Kiss.
Kiss. Like
Skinner.
you could,
CDC.
and
Def Leppard.
yeah, you could have as many of those bands as you wanted, and that little pre-show where they're in the studio, it could just be that band's members, and then when you get in the ride vehicle, instead of having Steven Tyler scream you off, it would be Gene Simmons screaming you off.
And then that band's music playing through the ride.
Through the whole ride.
I like it. I love it.
No, I like that.
That would be an awesome ride. And it's already an awesome ride.
Well, and I think it would drive more people to that ride because it's like you don't know which band you're going to get.
Exactly, and you have to ride several times to try and get all of them. Mm-hmm. It's like a collect all 4 kind of situation.
Yeah.
And they're already they have the technology to be able to do that,
Now
because
they do.
the new Guardians ride has 4 or 5 different songs.
6
different songs or 6 different experiences based on when you go on it. So they have the technology to be able to do it.
That's cool.
May not be able to get all 6 bands in there to record a little intro for the beginning room, but
why wouldn't they? I mean,
it's more access to their music and that kind of thing. And no, you're rolling your eyes. I'm saying that would be a good thing for them to record. More people are going to hear their music.
That's what I'm saying. Why wouldn't they?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And we could teach the youngins of the world what real music sounds like.
Yeah. Education.
Yeah, if we're gonna get them to record all that music, they probably need to before some of those band members start dying off.
Would you stop?
Hey.
Whoa.
Too far.
Too far. Okay, what else?
I just had one. Well, I do know. Like anything about the ride, even the queue?
Yep.
All right. So, Pandora has a great ride called Flights of Passage. And it has a great queue and it's a great ride. However, what is the other one called?
Navi River Journey,
Yeah, Navi River. See, I even forgot the name.
where you can't make rope interesting.
Yes. Thank you, Candace. You can't. The queue needs to be renovated to make it more fun because the ride itself, it's not terrible. It's if you want to get out of the heat or you just want to sit for a while and be in a dark room with, plants that glow and listen to music, it's, sit down in a boat and you get to enjoy all of that and it's great. However, waiting in line was not great. And I think they need to do more with that queue.
Agreed. Do you think some of that waiting in line for that ride, the queue, we didn't look around as much as maybe we would have because we were nervous about getting you guys on Flights of Passage?
A little bit, yes. But then also waiting in that line, it looked too much like Under the Sea with Ariel and Friends. Don't you think?
Well, and there were little signs to read about different, plant species that you were going to experience and different creatures that you would experience on the ride. But you can only read those things over again so many times before it's like, okay, next. Walk down this piece of rope and find another thing to read. They could have done a lot more with it. And I think since the ride is very, very short in length, they could have actually started some of the ride theming out in the queue to immerse you more in the story than, I got to go get in a boat and go see Walt Disney's most expensive animatronic ever in the way of the Shaman Priestess. Mm-hmm. and then it's done.
Well, that, and you go into Pandora, the entire land there is themed, and then you go into that queue, and it's like so off theme. I just don't understand why they couldn't have, you know, it would have been cooler to have those glowing plants and everything in the queue. I don't remember them. I just remember a whole bunch of like dirt pavement and all of that.
It felt very much like an afterthought, like they were speeding to get it open or something, and so they just decided, okay, we'll put up some of these little card things to read and some ropes to separate everybody and some sticks, and there you go. It's a line. Yay.
So that queue, you wound around, you did the back and forths for that entire You Can't Make Rope Interesting section. Then you had to go through, like when they merged the what is now Lightning Lane and the standby queue, you went through down into like where you loaded the rides. Was that fairly short from there, or was there more theming once you went past kind of the cave?
No, once you went past the cave, it was like load into a boat, we're going.
Okay.
Because the cast member was like, well, what time is your fast pass back then? And we told her, and she's like, no, once you get through the cave, you'll load up. So
Right, that's right. Yeah, because I just remember the wait time on that was posted at 30 minutes.
And
we had an hour before your fast pass lane opened up. And about 10 minutes into the wait, we're like, are they going to make it? Are they going to be able to make it and not lose out on their fast pass for Flights of Passage? But it all worked out.
It did.
even though y'all had to haul tail to get over there. But
Yeah. Okay.
And then I did have one more, but I can save it if you have one, Lariah.
Yeah, I do.
Go ahead.
I suggest taking the Nile crocodiles out of the safari.
The Animal Kingdom safari or the fake ones in the Jungle Cruise?
yes.
The safari just a little more.
Just because they're real,
Yeah.
they might get you.
Yeah, they can climb. They can climb.
Did you see the picture that Candace texted you
Yes.
the other night?
And I knew it. They knew I was there 3 years ago.
3 years ago now.
They sniffed
Holy
me.
cow, can you believe that?
Not yet. Not until September.
Okay, 2.75 years.
Yeah.
So the picture we're talking about is Candace and I, again, we watch Disney videos for fun, and All Ears had a video where they were out on the Mark Twain boat in Rivers of America, and there was a baby alligator swimming around, and we know Lariah's opinion on those, so we sent her a picture.
Thank you.
And after we sent you the picture and the video continued, Molly did say that they do remove the gators once they get to a certain size.
And put them in the ride.
That could very well be.
Yeah,
But
maybe they just move them over to the safari.
Just kidding.
and I kind of have a theory. I don't know this for sure, but do you remember on the safari how they were all painted?
Yes.
I think they're painted so that they know that if one gets out, they're going to be able to identify it as one from the ride. However, there are moats and all kinds of things that they're not going to get out and get you.
How can you be so sure?
Safety is Disney's number one key.
Okay.
Oh, Lariah.
There has never been anyone at Disney killed by an alligator from the safari.
Okay.
True statement.
Yeah.
And I was very specific about that for
Yes,
a
you
reason.
were. Yes, you were.
Yeah. I'll tell you later.
Okay.
Does she not know?
I don't know if she knows.
What was that, 10 years ago?
No, it was sooner than that. It was
Yeah,
like,
it was like
5 or 6 years ago.
Yeah.
There was a kid from Omaha
Yes.
that got pulled underwater by an alligator outside of the Grand Floridian.
Yeah, that's horrible.
Yeah.
That's absolutely
that happened
horrible.
at Disney.
Don't get in the water.
Thank you.
We were
That's why there are all
we
the
were in
signs
that
up
water.
that say there are dangerous wildlife here. Don't get in the water.
Yeah.
And that's why they put all the fences up and that kind of thing, too.
That's just horrible.
That's a different topic of discussion. Let's move on.
So Lariah would take the lizards out of the safari.
the lizards.
The dinosaurs.
The dinosaurs. Okay, you said you have another one, and then I have like a big, broad one that I want us to talk about.
Yes, I have one more, and it's with Mission Space. I do not appreciate that when you're waiting in line, they took away Lieutenant Dan.
Agreed.
Remember that?
Yes. Yes,
So-
yes, yes.
Yeah, I don't know his real name.
Gary Sinise.
Thank you, Candace.
You're welcome.
But the first time Scott and I rode that together, Lieutenant Dan, we're big Forrest Gump fans. We quote it all the time. Super excited to see him, let us on board to our rocket ship. And this last time that we went, I think that's a big reason why I got sick and didn't like it.
It could be.
Yeah.
Very well could be.
Not because we went on the orange instead of the green, but because
There was no
Lieutenant Dan.
Lieutenant Dan.
Yeah. So I was really disappointed when he wasn't there. So
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, I was promised there would be Lieutenant Dan.
Yeah.
We did. We didn't know that they had changed that pre-show, and we had promised Lariah Lieutenant Dan. So maybe that's why you both got sick. You were just distraught because Lieutenant Dan wasn't there, and Lacey was just pissed off because Lieutenant Dan wasn't there.
Emotional damage.
seriously.
Oh, that's too funny. Okay, so do you have another ride one that you would change, Candace?
Not necessarily one ride, but a couple of rides. I would prefer that they would change or update or reimagine so that the need for a chiropractor afterwards was not necessary.
Or have one ready available. when
Yes.
you're off the ride.
Space Mountain, we're talking about you.
Exactly.
I knew exactly what you were talking about when you said that.
That and Big Thunder, too. You needed a chiropractor after your second time on Big Thunder.
Not so much as a barf bag.
Yeah, Space Mountain is rough.
It is.
And I've heard Dinosaur over in Animal Kingdom is rough as well. I won't go on that because there's big scary things with loud noises. No. But I've heard that's really rough as well.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I'll have to check it out for
Well,
science.
and Astro Orbiter almost broke y'all.
Oh,
Oh, I have a suggestion for that.
yeah.
Burn it to the ground.
ride. Hide it where nobody can see it.
Yeah, that needs to go.
Yeah.
You got the alligators can go and ride on that ride.
Yeah.
You really want alligators flung all over the Magic Kingdom?
No, they will be strapped in to the sandpaper seats.
Oh.
The sandpaper seats.
It's literally like that.
Oh, that's too funny. Okay. So here's what I want us to discuss. This is going to be massive, and I'm bending the rules a little bit. It's more than one change. What if for 1 or 2 months out of every year, everything in the Magic Kingdom was rethemed with the Muppets?
Everything?
Just things where it makes sense, like turn Pirates of the Caribbean into a
Muppet Treasure Island.
Muppet Treasure Island.
That would be hilarious.
Have Haunted Mansion be the Muppet version of Haunted Mansion that's on Disney Plus, not permanently, just like a reskin for a short period of time. And just have it be like when Tinkerbell flies out of the castle, have it be Miss Piggy dressed as Tinkerbell flying out of the castle.
I don't hate it. Guys, I don't hate that.
It's a small world with all the rats from the Muppet Rats.
I don't know that you want to think about that. I'm trapped on a boat ride with a bunch of rats singing at me.
It's a small world with all the Muppet babies.
All right.
I just dated myself, didn't I?
A little
with
bit.
the Muppet
Little
babies.
bit.
Is that on Disney Plus? Is Muppet Babies on Disney Plus at all?
I don't think so.
We'll have to look later. Introduce the girls here to Muppet Babies. Do you know the Muppet Babies?
I had books as a child
Okay.
with Muppet Babies, or we did. So, just no motion picture.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I just think a retheme with the Muppets would be hilarious.
that would be.
And it wouldn't have to be everything. Like they
Right.
could just do like one ride in every land, and then like they do in Epcot with the little passport books, you could get a stamp every time you rode on one of those, and then take it back for like a Dole Whip and a Muppet Cup or something like that as
Yes.
a prize.
Oh my God, that would be hilarious. So let's go through the lands to talk about what would make the most sense for being rethemed as Muppets.
Main Street USA,
There's no rides there, so what would you retheme?
the Main Street vehicles. Hello.
Oh my God, have Sweetums driving the Main Street vehicles.
Yes.
That would be awesome.
Love it.
I love it. Okay, so are we turning right?
Adventureland.
Adventureland.
So, I say pirates. I
Pirates.
think because right when you said that, I imagined pirates with
Muppet
all
Treasure
of the
Island.
Yeah, immediately. That'd be hilarious.
Yeah, that would be amazing.
Boom Shakalaka has to make an appearance
Yes.
somewhere.
Boom shakalaka laka. Boom shakalaka.
Okay,
laka.
thank you. Frontierland.
Okay, so it would either be Splash Mountain or
Big Thunder.
Big Thunder or Haunted Mansion.
No,
That's
that's not
Liberty
in Frontier.
Square.
Okay, so it would have to be Splash Mountain or Big Thunder. I would think Splash Mountain.
Country Bear Jamboree.
Ooh, and then they could do like it could start with Kermit strumming the banjo, playing
Rainbow Connection.
Rainbow Connection, and then just as
Mass
as what
chaos.
happens from there, it's just mass chaos like it is. It could be like a redo of like the Muppet Show. Mm-hmm. They could just do 2 months of the Muppet Show. Mm-hmm. That would
That'd
be
be amazing.
awesome.
Okay, Liberty Square
Hall of Presidents.
or Haunted Mansion.
Yeah, I think Haunted Mansion would be.
Yeah. That'd be funny.
I'm trying to think of on the Disney Plus Muppets Haunted Mansion of who all the different people were, like what parts they played.
I need to watch this. I didn't even know they made.
Oh, it is so cute.
Is it?
It is adorable.
Okay. I'll have to watch that
Yeah,
soon.
maybe we can watch that tonight between breaks and recording
Or something.
or something. I love it. I'd watch it all the time. Okay, so,
Okay, so next one over is Fantasyland.
Ooh, maybe.
the Pooh ride.
I was either thinking that or even Under the Sea with Ariel and friends, and having Miss Piggy dress up as Ariel would be so great.
There it is. There it is. Miss Piggy laying there with a mermaid tail. You're here to see moi. Have Gonzo be Scuttle.
Oh, dear.
Okay, so there's Fantasyland.
Okay, are we splitting off Storybook Circus or leaving it as part of Disneyland as it supposedly is?
Part of Fantasyland, you mean?
Whatever.
Yeah. Listen to what you mean, not to what you say.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think we just leave that as is, because the only ride over there is...
Dumbo, huh?
Well, you have Dumbo, which that would be impossible to retheme,
Yeah.
but then you also have Goofy's
Barnstormer.
Barnstormer over there, which is a little kid roller coaster.
Okay.
So I think we just leave that as part of Fantasyland.
Okay. And then Tomorrowland, and I have a really good one for this, so I'm going to go ahead and take it.
Okay.
Okay.
Space Mountain themed out as pigs in space.
Oh my God. That would be freaking amazing. What's the launch like on Space Mountain?
You just go
Is it
up
a s-
the tunnel incline
Okay.
with the lights coming at you.
Yeah.
Okay. So that would be fairly easy to tell a little bit of story before then. It's, again, chaos as you drop down through.
Although I don't know that you want to put anything that you would have to look at and try and focus on while you're moving through that, because you're so focused on where is this car going and what is happening to me that it would almost cause, I would think, some medical issues perhaps. Or not feeling so great if you had to try and like look at a Sweetums as he went flying by or something, you know.
Right.
Okay. So that's all the way through the park. Just give each land one little Muppet retheme, a little bit of chaos for a couple months, or even just a month.
I love it.
That
I
would
think
be
that
amazing.
would be so much fun.
I would plan my trip around that.
Yeah.
As somebody that only gets to go every couple of years, I would plan a trip around making sure I was there for that.
And they could also use that to kind of thin out some of the other parks when there's really high capacity or whatever. You'd be like, we're here for the Muppets.
Yeah, Magic Kingdom's doing something special. I'm trying to think of what other rides would be good with a Muppet retheme
Like outside of Animal or
outside of Magic Kingdom.
Yeah.
Like, what about having Sweetums be the Yeti on?
Well, but as a person that can't even see the Yeti when you're going through it, you would miss him.
That's true.
Well,
Yeah.
except for his big orange nose.
Right. I might see it better.
Yeah.
What else?
Maybe Tower of Terror would be kind of fun to have them all dressed.
Scooter dressed up like bellhop.
Yes, exactly. That would be cute.
That's amazing. Okay. Any other changes that you would make to any attraction or show?
What else does Reddit say?
Let's look. There's a lot of suggestions for like at Disneyland they do a holiday skin, like a Jack Skellington skin at Christmas, like a Nightmare on Christmas. They do that overlay on Haunted Mansion. So there were lots of people saying to do the Haunted Mansion holiday overskin at Magic Kingdom as well.
I'm not quite understanding. I'm sorry.
They do a Nightmare Before Christmas overlay to the Haunted Mansion.
From like November through January in Disneyland, they change it to where it's a Nightmare Before Christmas theme.
Like inside the ride?
Yeah.
Oh.
I don't like that.
Thank you.
It's some people's favorite part of Haunted Mansion.
I bet it is.
I'm not some people.
Are you not a fan of that movie as a whole?
No, I like it. I'm more of a Halloween person than a Christmas person. So
I don't know
change
about you guys, but I love Nightmare Before Christmas as a movie, but the franchise itself is so overdone that to me this might be so offensive to someone. So I'm sorry, I am 2 drinks in, but it comes across as cheap anymore. Just
Thank
like
you.
It's not, you know, I appreciate the movie, but I don't want any of like the items. Like do you know what I mean?
Yes, it's too commercialized.
Yeah, it's like
Too much hype.
yeah, overdone and just cheap now that
Frozen.
yes.
But it is also one of the only like Halloween Disney movies,
Yeah.
kind of. But
Haunted Mansion.
well, one of the
Hocus
only
Pocus.
ones. One,
Halloween Town.
one of the only ones.
Do you
She'll
want-
keep going.
Yeah. Don't mess with me. It's almost spooky season.
We need a video of this. The looks that could kill. Okay, so here's a funny one that somebody put on Reddit. What if they give, in Small World, they give everybody in the boats blaster rockets and then give the dolls blasters as well? So it's like a Small World war.
That would be hilarious.
So
yes,
the
on
dolls
the
are-
ride that promotes world peace, let's give everybody a gun.
There it is. Give everybody a gun and let kids shoot at you for 10 minutes when you're floating around.
Little mechanical children.
Right.
That are singing and dancing and blinking and shooting. It just sounds fabulous.
Oh, that sounds amazing. Let's see if there's any others on here that I think would be worth bringing up. Somebody said add another section to Spaceship Earth. Like make it longer.
Well, when you're going backwards down, I think we already discussed this, how instead of having a screen right there, we would like to have something going on around us.
And in the initial iteration that I saw, which was the Jeremy Irons narrated version, that whole trip back down was full of stuff to watch and people communicating back and forth. And there was like light shows going back and forth over cities that they were communicating and all kinds of fun stuff to watch. And you know me and screens. I'm not there to look at a screen. I'm there for the experience and I'm there for the ride. Mm-hmm. Screens are lazy. I said what I said.
I agree.
I have one. They should add a section to Living with the Land where you can get off and kind of explore through it, which I know is like an extra bonus that you can do, but like just a smaller version of that, I guess, where you can just walk through some gardens.
I think that would be awesome. And then if you wanted, they would have like a little like farmer stand where you could buy like a little dish of vegetables that they grew in
Yes.
the greenhouse that you could buy for like, I don't know, $5. I mean, if they're selling 2 cuties for $3, You buy a little boat of vegetables and walk out of the pavilion eating your vegetables that they grew right there.
I love that.
Yes.
They could almost just do that at the end of the ride. Just have you exit into like a little farmer's market.
Oh.
Hello.
Oh.
Josh, tomorrow we really need to talk.
And like little samples
Yeah.
too. Say, why don't you sample this watermelon shaped Minky that we grew?
Yeah.
Eat it.
Eat it right now. Here's some tahini and a lime.
Eat it.
Go ham. And I would.
Yes.
No, but that would be really fun
Yeah.
to have a little farmer's market. And then, okay, this is getting a little crazy. But what if then they had a little station to where you brought your vegetables and they cook you up a little lunch with that?
It's called Garden Grill.
Yeah. Well, I'm talking about like a Mongolian grill style where they show.
Oh,
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, Tepanetto isn't far away. You just have to cross over into World Showcase and go to the Japan Pavilion, and Tepanetto is a
Shogun.
Shogun type place.
Why have we not gone there?
Because there's more interesting places to eat in Epcot.
My stomach just growled.
Yeah.
But I mean, they could have like a separate little grill out somewhere where you could be, I got my vegetables, you cook it up.
Yeah, and just make a fun little.
It could be an experience.
They would sell so many boats of vegetables if they did that. Like somebody was just out there cooking.
They'd have to double up the greenhouses, I think.
Right.
Yeah.
Which I don't see a problem with that.
They're Imagineering. They can do it.
Yeah.
Edutainment.
Okay. One more thing that we can talk about before we wrap up this episode is what if the People Mover acted more like the train? They extend the People Mover outside of Tomorrowland and have it kind of go through different lands where you could get on and off.
It wouldn't be in theme at all to the other lands.
Well, you could theme it like almost like Time Machinists.
How are you going to change the trains to change theme with every land that you pass through?
I don't know. That's why I'm not an Imagineer.
And no. I don't like that idea at all.
Okay. Because the train is not very Future World. I guess you don't get on the train at the Future World, do you?
Nope.
Have they opened the train yet? Maybe that's the
Not
one thing
yet.
I would change. Open
I've
the
s-
train again.
I've seen it. I've seen things that they're testing it to run again, but they haven't opened it yet.
Yeah, they probably
Thanks,
won't until
Tron.
Yeah, they probably won't until Tron opens.
I am excited for that ride, though.
Me too. It looks really cool.
Sorry. We're thrill ride seekers.
I'm not even going to say what popped in my head.
Wait, can you tell us after?
I will.
Okay, and on that note, since Candace isn't going to share, what is there anything else that we want to talk about, things that we would change about a single attraction? If not, that's okay. We can end it here.
And we can do a part 2 if we
Yep.
think about this later on. And
Yep, for sure.
Not a single attraction, but I think overall as a park, I have one. But we'll save that for another discussion.
Okay. Cool. Okay, then let's wrap this one up here. Thanks again for listening. We appreciate you so much listening in and tuning in. Share us with your friends. We're trying to grow the podcast a little bit. The best way we can do that is to have you just share it and let people know that we're out here and that we're fun to listen to. We think we're fun to listen to, right?
we are.
We
are.
crack me up.
Okay, have a great, big, beautiful tomorrow.
And we'll see you real soon.